And who is that?
Terence Crawford. That's it. You know, I'm 41-0 for a reason. You gotta have 4 arms.
I know. I know.
And 6 eyes.
Our job is to line it up. And us fighters, we're warriors. We always want to fight them.
Former boxing champion Floyd Mayweather has sent out a cautionary message to Terence Crawford amid ongoing debates about who would come out on top between them. Mayweather emphasized that Crawford might be pursuing an illusion, since the version of Mayweather who ruled the sport has already retired on his own terms. He made it clear that no one is going to rewrite the legacy he left behind.
Me versus anybody, I'm gonna always say me.
Okay.
Come on now.
Mayweather explained to Smith that boxing isn't only about present strength. It's about who commanded the spotlight at the right time. From his perspective, Crawford asking for the matchup in his mid-30s comes too late. According to Floyd, that fight should have happened years ago, when the hype and numbers would have been at their peak.
You think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me?
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah.
The exchange took place during a fiery discussion on Stephen A. Smith's show, where Mayweather and Crawford went head-to-head in a rare on-air showdown that immediately captured the boxing world's attention. While Floyd remained composed, his words carried weight. He reminded Crawford that no matter how many victories he collects, or even if he defeats opponents Mayweather never faced, it won't alter the legacy he already built. With that, Mayweather reinforced the dominance of his own era while subtly criticizing Crawford for showing up too late to ever share the ring with him.
I lose. I don't want to lose because now society has shaped things to where if a fighter lose, they talk so bad about, oh, he's a bum. I knew he was overrated. Oh, y'all hyped him up, and now they gotta hear it. But back in the day, they didn't have social media. You know what I mean? So all that wasn't in their...
Floyd Mayweather recently issued a strong message to Terence Crawford, making it clear that chasing a fight with him now is pointless because the version of Mayweather who ruled the sport already retired on his own terms, and no one can rewrite that legacy. Speaking with Stephen A. Smith, Floyd stressed that boxing isn't only about who looks strongest today, but about who commanded the stage when it mattered most. And in his eyes, Crawford is asking too late. A fight in his mid-30s can't compare to what it would have drawn years ago. Their exchange on Smith's platform quickly grabbed the boxing world's attention, with Mayweather calmly but firmly telling Crawford that no matter how many wins he racks up or which opponents he beats, it won't change history or overshadow his era. The debate has since spread beyond the two fighters, with figures like Ryan Garcia jumping in to criticize Mayweather's legacy, arguing that while Floyd was brilliant inside the ring, he also mastered timing fights to his own benefit, often facing big names like Pacquiao and Cotto after their prime years. Garcia believes that approach shifted boxing in the wrong direction, encouraging future stars to protect undefeated records rather than chasing the toughest matchups.
Everybody acting like Bud is the second coming of Mayweather. Y'all got the game fucked up. Mayweather actually didn't get hit. Bud gets hit by dudes that, like, who on Bud's resume is an equivalent of someone on Floyd's resume? So that's it right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Floyd not getting hit by elites, Bud getting hit by non-elites, and somehow y'all think Canelo not about to...
Adding to the debate, analyst Max Kellerman offered his own perspective, suggesting that depending on how you measure legacy, Crawford could have a stronger case than Mayweather. Kellerman pointed out that Floyd carefully selected when to face certain opponents, particularly after moving up from lightweight. While his record is stacked with big names, the timing often left fans questioning whether he avoided certain challenges when they were most dangerous. Crawford, on the other hand, has consistently shown a willingness to face anyone available, even if his resume isn't as deep, and Kellerman argued that this attitude resonates with fans who value fighters willing to take on all comers.
Floyd versus Triple G.
Listen, man.
Floyd didn't fight him, and Floyd is an all-time great. But what a missed opportunity. You got Crawford going from 135 and talking about fighting Canelo at 168. It's kind of the same.
And that's where the core debate lies, resume versus intent. Mayweather's record is filled with marquee names like De La Hoya, Pacquiao, Cotto, Hatton, Marquez, Mosley, Gotti, Corrales, and others. Yet critics such as Ryan Garcia and Max Kellerman argue that the timing of those matchups takes away some of their shine. By the time Mayweather fought Pacquiao in 2015, Manny was older and less explosive. Mosley was nearly 40 and coming off a long break. Cotto had endured years of punishment, and Canelo was only 23 and restricted by a catch weight. While Floyd's dominance in those bouts can't be denied, detractors maintain that the circumstances leave a permanent asterisk next to parts of his legacy.
Looking back at like Floyd's career, like him coming up in the era that he came up in, he had all them champions that he was able to fight, and that's what led him to be so great. You know, because he fought the most champions, beat the most champions. You know, got the most money for beating the most champions. So it's just like, man, he had this guy.
On the other hand, Crawford's resume may not be stacked with as many marquee names, but the intent behind his fights tells a different story. He never seemed concerned with timing. He fought Sean Porter while Porter was still a serious challenge, dominated Errol Spence at age 35, and stunned fans by moving up to super middleweight and defeating Canelo Alvarez. Crawford's issue wasn't avoiding big matchups, it was that promoters and networks often avoided him. Seen as a high-risk, low-reward fighter under top rank, he spent years chasing marquee opportunities that never came together. By the time he finally secured his showdown with Spence, he was already deep into his 30s.
We knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No, I try my best tonight, and I just cannot figure out the style.
Was it something specific, the movement, or his...
38 years old, Crawford now stands unbeaten with a 42-0 record, holding undisputed championships across 3 weight classes and victories over opponents like Gamboa, Postol, Jeff Horn, Porter, Spence, and Alvarez. Still, when stacked against Mayweather's 50 wins, the numbers tilt in Floyd's favor. 8 fights may not sound like much, but in the legacy debate, every detail carries weight. Yet Crawford has a unique card to play, his pursuit of new divisions. If he were to move down and capture a middleweight title, he would accomplish something Mayweather never attempted. Floyd stopped at 154 pounds, making history there but never chasing a 6th division. Crawford's drive to keep testing himself with bigger and riskier challenges could ultimately be the factor that reshapes the conversation about their legacies.
Floyd had a lot of craft that mimicked some of the things that Sugar Ray did. So does Terence. And Terence is psychologically a latter-day Sugar Ray Robinson. He has the same kind of capacity to be charming and then in the next 30 seconds to turn on his fire. And that, I think, is part of what he's going to take into the ring against Canelo.
Timing of their careers adds another wrinkle to the debate. Crawford captured his first world title in 2014, just a year before Mayweather defeated Pacquiao and then closed his run with Andre Berto. Their overlap was brief but real, meaning the fight could have happened if Floyd had chosen to stick around. By that point, though, Mayweather was more concerned with protecting his legacy than adding new risks. That's essentially what he told Stephen A. Smith, "Don't bring the fight up now, because if it was ever going to happen, it would have been during the peak of interest and financial demand." That moment has passed, and no amount of Crawford's victories today can rewrite history or pull Mayweather back into the ring.
The thing about it is Terence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's true. But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody else?
There's an OG
somebody
gotta pioneer it, right? Yeah, you gotta.
There's
an OG you can't outfigure out somewhere, and I just believe Floyd is that OG you can't outfigure out.
Still, that hasn't stopped fans from fantasizing about a head-to-head showdown. At welterweight, Mayweather was a defensive genius, almost impossible to hit cleanly and capable of methodically dismantling opponents over 12 rounds. From ages 28 to 38, he went a perfect 12-0 at 147 pounds, holding control of the division for an entire decade. Crawford's version at the same weight was very different. Explosive, a switch hitter with knockout power and a ruthless edge. In just 5 years, he compiled an 8-0 record at welterweight, most of those wins coming in dominant, emphatic fashion. Taller, longer, and more adaptable with his stance and style, Crawford brought a completely different flavor to the division.
But were you surprised that, Crawford wasn't running from him? He was, he was very confident that he could stand there and trade, a lot of times with
Canelo. Crawford fought a brilliant fight. he brought a brilliant fight. He stayed at the right range. He didn't engage with Canelo, and Canelo was trying to get him to engage with him. And he took control of the fight. He did what he wanted when he wanted to do.
In a hypothetical matchup, Crawford's size and relentless aggression would have posed challenges to Mayweather's defense that few others ever managed. Some fans draw parallels to Paul Williams, the tall, high-volume welterweight often considered a stylistic nightmare for Floyd, and a fight that never materialized. Add in Crawford's adaptability and dangerous southpaw power, and it becomes clear why many believe Mayweather's perfect record might have been truly tested against him.
Bud's so strong. That's what I said. Why are you talking about 54? None of them dudes gonna get you up. If you truly beat Canelo, why not be the greatest fighter in the existence of boxing? Like, Bivol was the only dude to beat 2 undisputed active champions. Like, he beat Canelo as an undisputed champion, and he beat Better Beef as an undisputed champion. Bivol, historically, might go down as one of the greatest to ever do it. If you beat Bivol and you beat Canelo, I mean, Crawford might have surpassed TBE.
Supporters of Mayweather counter that his style was built to neutralize aggressive fighters. He wasn't just fast and elusive, he was efficient. Floyd didn't need to throw 70 punches around. Landing the clean 25 while making his opponent miss 50 was enough to take control. Against a fighter like Crawford, who thrives on switching gears mid-fight, Mayweather might have used the same blueprint he applied against Canelo in 2013 or Ricky Hatton back in 2007, frustrating their pressure and taking away their rhythm. Beyond skills, there's also the question of control outside the ropes. Mayweather was the pay-per-view king, capable of commanding the sport's spotlight and dictating when, where, and how fights took place. Crawford, even with his wins over Spence and Canelo, never reached that level of influence. In the end, it's a debate that keeps fans divided. Who would have come out on top if Mayweather and Crawford had ever shared the ring?